What's going on, YouTube? Zero Lead here, and I'm back again with a new video, episode 61 of the Disco Era u.s.s Enterprise tutorial. I just want to thank you very much for tuning into today's video, and if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. And today we've got about a 36-minute video. We are going to be getting some stuff done. My goal is by the end of this episode to have the sick bay finished. So we're going to be picking up right where we left off in episode 60. We're back in the surgeon area, and the wall to the left of the surgeon area, we're going to be bringing this area out by one. So we're just going to be starting to fill in our walls and starting to really structure out this room. Later on in the episode, we're going to add in the rest of the pod bays for our bedding, and we're going to have to shape the outer walls also. Let's get a little bit more sea lanterns going here. Don't have as many as I want to. I apologize for that. This is one of my pre-recorded episodes. Still have about 15, I counted them before this recording. I have 15 record sessions left until I get caught up, and everything else after that will be fresh recordings, but there's still some stuff left to do. A lot of more room to cover. We still have to do the mess hall, bowling alley, torpedo bay, crew quarters for admiral, captain, first officer, and then general crew quarters. If there's anything else that you guys want to see me do, be sure to drop a comment below. If there's any questions that you have regarding this tutorial, make sure to drop a comment below. You can see I'm adding out a row just in front of our gray line, and we're starting to fill that in with half slabs. I think that gives it a nice little texturing line right there, excuse me. I really like how that surgeon area came out. It looks really good. Now this outer wall here, we're eventually, by the end of this episode, going to be covering all this up and having a straight wall going back. You can see I'm getting rid of the row of full blocks going along with the cut. But eventually, like I was saying, we're going to be filling this in and having straight walls. Can't go that far out because now we're in our corridor, so I have to put that red block back. You can see from the third cut, we're just bringing the wall all the way over. Now we're still going to be making some adjustments. We're going to do just a couple more things in this room, and then we're going to move on to the rest of the room, and then we'll pan back to this room towards the end of the episode. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that we also have some work to do in engineering, and tomorrow's episode, I believe, is going to focus on the airlocks to actually enter the ship. That's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to show that because I found screenshots of what the airlocks actually look like, and I'm going to show them in tomorrow's episode. It took me a while to find those pictures, and I actually had to go back and rewatch the episode when they transferred over from the Discovery to the Enterprise in the end of season 2 Discovery, just to get those screenshots for you guys so we can do this. But I'm really excited to show that off tomorrow. I'm also really excited to show off the rest of this build. I know that we've been working on and off on our sick bay a little bit here for a while now, but I wanted to really, this was 3 different recording sessions that I merged into one because I really wanted just to get this done so that we can move on to other sections of the ship because it really needs it. And you can see what I did there on the right side, and we're going to do that on the left side now. We're going to do a gray line of gray, or excuse me, the light gray, and then a line of the magenta. I believe that's magenta glass. But we're going to be altering that a little bit because I'm not going to settle on that. It needs a little bit of love. Could have left it just as is and it doesn't look horrible, but I think we can do a little bit better. So let's get rid of those half slabs and let's get rid of the stuff that we just added. And really what we're going to be doing is what we just built, we're going to be moving it up into the ceiling. So this way it's all nice, flush, and flat, and it'll look really clean when it's done. And I took out a block, 2 blocks up on purpose because I wanted to make sure that I can build up in this area. So that's something you always want to be conscious of as well. Being aware of your surrounding, what's directly above you, what's directly below you, and on your sides, because you want to make sure we're not building into other regions of the ship. This is also one of the reasons why I'm not so concerned with having stuff really pushed up on each other. I try to have just a little bit of wiggle room if I need it, just for in cases like this. Um, we've really been able to take advantage of that with pretty much the whole ship, I think, with an exception of the transporter room. The transporter room, we just didn't have a lot of room to work above us. But this area, we're dead smack dab in the center of the saucer, so we have a little bit of room above us and a little bit of room below us to work with. Now this left side here, I'm going to do this slightly different than what we have on the right side. And the reason for that is because I want to see which side I like more. Because this is really an experimental phase to see what I want to end up with. So this way we can take our lighting that we're pretty much going to be, that we're making right now, and we're going to apply this to all the different uh, bed sections that we're going to be adding in the medical bay. Now we can do light gray in front of that. Yeah, see, and that looks real clean. Has a nice retro feel to it. We're pretty much going to have the same thing on the right side here, but it's going to be coming one forward. So it's going to, the light gray line is going to be sticking out a little bit. But we're going to settle for the one on the left where it's actually tucked in. I feel like it just looks better. That to me doesn't look right. It feels like it's sitting out of place. This looks less sloppy, looks much better. So that's what we're going to do. So now let's take this side down. We're literally just going to move it back by 1 row. So this way it's nice and flush with the wall. All right, we're looking good. So now we're adding in our sea lanterns, moving that back by 1. We're just going to bring that all the way back until we hit that wall. You have those extra blocks there, don't worry about it. We're just going to fill that in on each side. And now we're going to do the magenta glass. I'm just going back over, just double check my work, making sure what I'm doing on the right side is matching the left. And it is perfect. So now all we have to do is add a row of white concrete in front of that. And we're looking good. Now, I don't think that we're there yet for these little pods. I think they need a little bit more color, and what we're going to settle on is having blue and red stripes going down the sides of the medical bays. And again, the reason I did this was to try to give it, more of a retro 60s feel. And I think that it really looks good by the time that we're done with it. Now you can see I'm adding an extra row to this wall here. We're not going to stay with this. We're going to bring it back to exactly what it was just a moment ago. I'm just trying to experiment here, see if I want to bring it out a little bit more, but it doesn't need to be this big. So everything that we're adding right now, we're just going to take this away here in just a moment. So let's get rid of the walls. Just one row, the pillars that we had in front, I got rid of an extra block there. Let's fix that. Now we're going to do the same thing on the right side. Now we're going to go into Bones' office. We're going to do blue block in each corner, and then going up at one in an angle, and then up a third one, and then straight across. And then we're going to fill in the corners with the white concrete. Just give a little bit of color and texture. Apologize for the lighting in here. It's going to be a little bit dark. When I upload this video, I'm going to do it in 1080p, so hopefully it's not too dark for you. But there's only a few episodes left that I have pre-recorded, and then after that, everything will be fresh recordings for you guys. But I don't think this will be too bad. We can pretty much make this up for the most part. Now I'm just literally just making a desk, and I'm building that off of the original blue block that we started in the corner. I'm just building at an angle at a cut, out by 2. Now we're going to start to take out some of the ceiling here. We're going to do our lighting. I'm doing 3 wide. And I think we're going 4 back. We're just going to fill all this in with sea lanterns. And then we're going to do, we've been using the magenta enough. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's grab some lime stained glass. I think that is fitting because on the TOS Enterprise, it definitely had a lot of that green glass going throughout the ship. And I think this will help give it a little bit more of a retro feel. Maybe we can do like a line of light gray going around it. That might not look too bad. That looks pretty good. Still have a little bit more left to do, but I like where this is going. Now we're just looking at which color bricks I want to grab. I think I settle for the white ones. The smooth white quartz stairs. Something I wish that they would add in Minecraft, different colored stairs and like full range of colors, and the same thing with the half slabs. I don't understand, after this game's been out, at this point I think it's been well over a decade. This is something that they definitely need to add in this game because I mean it's really getting to a point that I don't think it's necessarily hurting them because I think Minecraft is going to be one of those games that's going to be everlasting, but it would just be really cool if they did because there'll be more stuff that we can do in this game. But I still at the same time I appreciate the challenge. That is sometimes what makes it fun about this game when we're able to pull some of this stuff off within the restrictions that we currently have. It's pretty satisfying. You see, now I'm just building my doorway, keeping it consistent with the rest of the ship. We want to make sure that we have that block there in the middle, give the impression that there's going to be opening automatic doors. Even if we don't necessarily use add automatic doors, we want to make sure that that one design flows through the entire ship. It's definitely important because when you start missing things like that going through your ship, that's really when you start to lose that consistently throughout it. And you can see this is a quick sneak peek of the actual airlocks. I used part of I used part of that build for this particular recording, but I did it in a way that we're not going to get stuck or we're not skipping over anything. We're focusing specifically on the medical bay, but I pretty much had to skip over one episode to get all the stuff for the medical bay pretty much. So now I want to go back and what I got going on here. You can see I got a red line going around, and don't freak out. This is pretty simple how I did this. So what you're going to do is the easiest way off your doorways, because you think that we have 3 doorways one here, and then one behind us that we can't see. There's a fourth one that on the opposite end of that entrance. Well, when you come in from that entrance on that fourth one, that's where the actual turbo lift is to go up into the bridge. So that's our fourth one. Over to the right a little bit more. Right there, there's 1, 2, and then 3. My point is, and I'm making, is that on every single block here on your entrances, you're going to build 2 blocks out. And then you're just going to do your line straight across like this, going along the floor. And this is how we're going to start to really shape this room, because what I was mentioning before in the last couple of episodes and why I made this decision to really do this is because when I really tried to build this the first time, the pictures for the Enterprise Medical Bay didn't translate well over into Minecraft, and I still wanted to do something cool, so I decided, you know what? Let's just make the room a square. We can definitely make it work. So you can see now I'm building off my doorways 2 blocks out. On the third one is where we're going to have our wall going across. So you don't have to worry about where exactly I started. As long as you're going off of these 3 doorways and you're building 2 walls out, you can see it's perfectly matching up. And of course, we're going to remove the blocks blocking our doorway itself. And now we have much more of a perspective of how much room we have to work with here, walkways. And all the stuff within the red, we're going to try to convert these into other shelving or cupboards or cubby holes, whatever you want to call them, for the medical, different medical beds that we're going to be adding. So we need more light beds, more light blue beds. Now we're going to be building up our wall here, going 3 high. Where we have the half slabs, don't worry about that just yet. We'll fill that in a moment. Perfect. So let's get the other side of this done. So now we're just literally going to repeat that same process again. We're banging this out here. I've noticed I haven't had too many questions in the comment section lately. I've been trying to be as explanatory, or I've been trying to be explaining things as much as I can where need be. But some of this isn't too bad. I think for the most part, I've been able to do this at a slow enough pace where you guys are able to catch exactly where I'm building it at. Stuff I feel I need to pick out, I'm picking it out, and I think that's been working out pretty well here. Let's throw some sea lanterns down. Let's get them in the corners here. We're going to get rid of that wall there. That's going back to the surgeon room. We don't need that 3 high wall, the blue. Now let's get rid of some of these half slabs here. We're going to fill in those gaps. So we want a nice clean wall. You can see here just to the right, I have blocks, red going down at a different angle here. And just the way you need to figure that out is off of this line here. You're obviously going as far back as you can. All you need to do is just literally build off of that, go in the opposite direction. You want to make sure, obviously, that there's an angle here, that they're meeting up, and that's how you just keep that consistent. So you don't even need to necessarily have my exact placement in order to keep that line consistent. The main thing is starting it off the doors, and if you do it that way, you're going to end up exactly with what I have here. All right, we're looking good so far. We're getting rid of the last of these half slabs here, and the fruits of our labor is finally starting to pay off in this room specifically. I'm really excited. Now we're finally getting into the meat of it. The last 18 minutes of this episode, and I feel like this is definitely one of the rooms that we spent the most time on for the interior. So you can see that I'm building out as far as I can, but I'm not taking away the walls on uh, the left. I still have one. This one we're going to have to add another block here, I think, too high, because we want enough where there's 2 walls back, because that's all we're doing is just 2 walls back. Anything, if you have anything past that, then you're making this cubby hole too big. And we're going to stop at 1 right before the doorway, and then right after the doorway we're going to start it. We're going to keep going until we hit 2 walls back, and then we're going to stop. All right, hit 2 walls back. Let's stop right there. That's perfect. The same thing on this side, starting 1 after the door so that wall's there, then build until we hit 2 walls back. All right, that looks good. We have another one here. I believe this is the last one. Again, we're just repeating the same process again. Don't worry about the extra stuff in the back. We're going to fill that in just a moment. Let's add in the beds. Start it off the wall. If you're looking for my placement, I'm looking towards the front of the ship right now. Starting off the wall again. Now we're looking to the right side of the ship. Starting after the wall. And the parts with the beds here, this doesn't have to be perfect, but the main thing is that you're doing it every other one. Don't want to have them lined up side by side with each other, because then that's just too much. So the bottom row we're doing white concrete, and then the middle row we're doing blue. We're going to take out any half slabs that are back there and fill that in. Again, you just want to make sure that this is 2 back. We're going to get rid of the top row, but still maintaining the cut that we currently have. All right, we're slowly getting there. We have some stuff to get rid of. Don't even necessarily need to get rid of those half slabs there, because we're going to be putting a wall down that's going to be covering all that up. All right. And we got 2 more. Well, 1 more after this. All right, perfect. So we're 2 back, and we want to make sure that this is flat. That was the left side, so now we're looking towards the front. So on the 3rd one back, now this is the row we're having the wall. We want to make sure in the middle row we have the blue. Let's get rid of those 2, so this way to keep it consistent. You want that back wall to be flat. And that red that we're exposing right there, that's our corridors. So now you can get an idea of why I decided to add the red stripes in, because I'm just making lemonade out of lemons at that point, and I'm using that those blocks to my advantage. I just decided to embrace it, kind of like what we did with the brig. You'll definitely find yourself in situations like that when you're doing builds like this, where you just be forced to incorporate that into a design queue, and it'll probably surprise you like it did me, because it just ended up working out for the best. All right, our room is starting to take a little bit more of a familiar shape to the final room. Let's get rid of this red line. We're going to fill that in with white concrete instead. This is our doorway to go into our surgeon room, so you want to make sure that we have this blue archway going all the way around, just like we have in the rest of our ship. Oh, we got a half slab there. Let's fill that in. Let's get rid of these half slabs. We don't need them. I'm sorry about the darkness in the pods here. We're going to be adding some more lighting here in a few moments. I know we only have 12 minutes left, but we've got really going to start rocking and rolling here to bang out the rest of this. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've used the same screenshot for every single time we've done the medical bay, and that's because once I settled on it, I didn't make that change, and I was able to settle on at a point before we had gotten to it, so I was lucky enough to where I didn't have to take multiple screenshots of it. But this is definitely going to be very cool. So now the back row here on the roof, we're going to be taking this row out, just a single row, and then we're going to be filling that in with our light shafts that we had built in the beginning of the episode. And this is going to help make the room, it's really going to help tie the room together. All right, we got one more left. And then we can say goodbye to darkness. Well, one more. Then we can say goodbye to darkness after that. Okay, we're in good shape. We're getting our prep work set up so we can get this lighting in here. Let's get these sea lanterns going. Making sure I'm building at the right height, so this way when I add in my magenta glass blocks, that and see, for that one I'm using purple, but I believe it's there we go. The second one was magenta. So you can see I'm matching it up just to double check. You always want to double check and make sure what you have is right if you're not sure. If you're sure, then go for it. No need to go back to it. But me, I always like to, every once in a while, double check if I'm not certain, because it can save yourself from making a mistake down the road. And this part is pretty easy. We're just literally repeating the same process that we started early on in the episode, filling in our sea lanterns, then going back again with a row of the magenta stained glass, and then a row in front of the magenta stained glass. We're getting rid of that, and then replacing that with the light gray. And let's fill that in with the light gray. Excuse me. All right, we're looking good. Got a couple more left. And then we can move on to the last couple of things we got to do. 30 minutes has flown by. We're in the last 9 minutes of this episode, but we still have a couple of things left to do before we can call it a done day, but we're going to finish it by the end of today's episode. Because that is something, especially as I do more tutorials in the future, when I focus on an interior area, I want to try to get that done, one, in as little videos as possible, but two, I want to keep those videos together. So this way you guys aren't jumping all over the place a little bit. Because I think that'll be a little bit better for as far as the tutorials, and we won't be so scatterbrained. But this is, again, a learning process for me. when we do the next tutorial, which there is going to be there's definitely going to be another tutorial after this one, but I think that the next one will be a little bit better, hopefully. I feel like I learned a lot just from doing this, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying this tutorial series as much as I've enjoyed doing it. Um, Now we're adding to hop back in what I got going on here. Now at the top row of our blue line, we're doing a row of red. And then we're taking one block off the side. So we're not doing a strip all the way down on the corners. We're just taking one block out. Just take one. Right? And we're going to do that for every single side. Do the same thing here. Take out one, and then we take out every back wall one, except for those red ones. There's no need to. I got to fix that right there. Let's do blue right underneath the red just to keep it consistent. Yeah, I don't know what it is about that. The combination of the blue and red there, like that, with the purple lighting above it, it has like a very futuristic-y retro look to it. I think it looks freaking awesome. And it's funny because again, this was not what I had originally intended to build. What I intended to build for you guys was pretty much the Enterprise A's medical bay, and this, just kind of worked out this way. Well, I think that this is a little bit better, dare I say. I don't think this looks bad at all. I want to repeat that same process there, making sure that's matching up. So that third block, we're getting rid of that. We got a red one right there. We'll just fill that in just so it's flat. And now we're going to be coming into this room here. Let's finish that blue on the roof. We got to fill this in, blend that in a little bit. Let's see, what can we do right here? Maybe get rid of those top two ones. See, that's not going to necessarily be a bad thing, because then maybe we can just continue our pattern here, maybe, with the red and blue. Yeah, I think with the changes that we made in this episode, I feel like the room really flows now. It doesn't have that circle that it had before, but I feel like that circle, it wasn't working. You can see I'm taking out these sea lanterns in the corners. Those corners look kind of funky right now. Don't worry, we're going to fill those in with a row of white concrete blocks going straight up. We're just going to put a row of a pillar right in the corner. Ooh, that made it a little bit dark in there. Just in that back area. I might have to fix that at some point. But the rest of this room is starting to look pretty good. We're going to add in some windows here on the sides. I think that was something that was in Bones' office, that he could see into his medical bay from his office. So we're going to do that here, I think. You can see I'm cutting up at an angle with the gray. I'm going to do that on both sides here. Every one I added a different row. I'm just cutting it up at the angle. So 3 high going in that angle, and then 3 high at that angle. We're going to take out the middle row of the blue. And let's do the lime green glass. I think that looked pretty solid. And we're not going to do this for all the walls. We're just going to do this for his office. and repeat the same process that we did for the other side. I'll get rid of the middle row of the blue, and then replace that with the lime green. Alright, that looks pretty darn good. Definitely starting to wind down. It's the last couple of changes that we're going to be making here. But I think we're about to call this one a day. Now we're going to get rid of those red ones, but we don't actually need to even get rid of those because, like I said, we're just going to do a single row of the white concrete in the corners there. See, this is something I just wasn't crazy about. Maybe right here, might just move this wall back by 1. I don't know. Doesn't look bad like that. Maybe we can add 2 more on each side. That might look a little bit better, actually. Do blue in the middle. Yeah, that looks a little bit more like a solid piece there. I think I like that. Now, the last thing I looked at right there in that corner, I think I'm going to have to come back in here and fix that because that is the one part of the room I didn't do. So I will make a point to, because I don't think I did that here. You see I'm doing every single corner here. I'm just filling in those walls, unless I do it right here. Oh no, we are. We're putting in one right there in the corner. May not need to do anything more than that. But I think that that's about all we're going to need to do for this one. There doesn't necessarily need to be anything on that wall. You don't have to have something on every single wall because it's important to remember. At the end of the day, you don't want to overdo it. You want to add stuff where you feel like that it's needed, or you don't necessarily need to add something. It's okay to have a wall there. So, I mean, the Enterprise definitely had them. But I think that what I was trying to accomplish here, I think this room came out awesome. But I think that's going to wrap up episode 61. I just want to thank you, everybody, again for tuning into today's video. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. If you have any questions regarding this tutorial, make sure to drop a comment below, see if I can help you out. Also, if there's any builds that you guys would like to see me do, make sure to drop a comment below. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for episode 62. In fact, you can always catch new Minecraft episodes Tuesdays through Fridays. And don't forget, on Mondays, I have my Starship Evo builds. Speaking of Starship Evo, this will be the last thing I mentioned before I go. I forgot to bring this up yesterday, but my Eagle 5 that I had uploaded for you guys just a couple weeks ago, that actually ended up in the top downloads for Starship Evo. So everybody that downloaded my ship on Starship Evo for Steam, just want to thank you again for that and getting me in the top 5. And that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. Stay healthy and safe, and I will catch you all in the next episode.